This video will show you how to add a basic chart to your dashboard. We'll add a new chart to this blank dashboard. For information about creating a new dashboard, please see the video on creating a dashboard. Open your dashboard for editing and drag a chart component into the dashboard. This adds a blank chart into the dashboard. You can resize the chart as desired by dragging on the resize handles. You can move the chart by dragging on the move handle or by pressing the arrow keys on the keyboard. To add a dimension to the x-axis or the y-axis, find the field that you want to add as a dimension. Generally, you'll find this in the Dimensions folder, and drag the field into either the X or Y region in the chart editor. In this case, we've placed the state field on the x-axis. If the field that you want to add as a dimension is listed in the Measures folder, you can right-click on the field and select Convert to Dimension. This will move the field into the Dimensions folder, and you can then use the field as a dimension. Next, add a measure into either the X region or the Y region as desired. In this case, we'll add the total field as a measure onto the Y-axis. This displays the aggregated total on the Y-axis, aggregated by state. You can add additional dimensions by dragging additional dimension fields into either the X or Y region. For example, we can add the dimension region to the X-axis as well. Note that here, region has been placed on the bottom X-axis, while state has been moved to the top X-axis. To change this ordering, simply change the order of the fields in the X region. To add additional measures, simply drag the desired measure fields onto either the X or Y axis. For example, to add quantity purchased as an additional measure, drag the field onto the Y-axis. Note that when you have multiple measures by default, the chart represents the different measures using different axes. Here, the total on the top axis and the quantity purchased on the bottom axis. To display the two measures on the same axis, press the Switch to Single Graph button in the Data panel of the chart editor. Note, however, that in this case, because the relative sizes of these two measures are quite different, the quantity purchased is barely visible on this chart. In such a case, you can consider creating a dual-axis chart. Please see the video on creating a dual-axis chart for more information. In this case, we'll return the chart to separate axis mode by pressing the Switch to Separate Graph button. To display a dimension using visual formatting, such as color, shape, or size, drag the desired dimension that you want to display down to the desired area in the visual panel at the bottom. For example, to group dates by color, drag the date field to the color region in the visual panel at the bottom. The chart now breaks out the different date groups by year using color. To represent a measure using a visual format, such as color or shape or size, simply drag the desired measure to the desired region in the visual panel. In this case, we're using the fill style in the bars of the bar chart to represent the quantity purchased. The appearance of the visual formatting depends on the type of chart. For example, the shape formatting for a bar chart refers to the density of the pattern in the bars of the chart, whereas the shape formatting for a point type chart refers to the level of fill in the point. To change the chart type, press the Select Chart Style button in the Data panel of the chart editor and choose the desired chart type. To make this chart easier to read, we might consider using size instead of shape to represent the value of quantity purchased. To do this, simply drag the quantity purchased field to the size region in the visual panel. Note that this chart now requires additional space, so a scroll bar is introduced at the bottom of the chart. You can leave the chart as a scrolling chart, or you can resize the chart so that scrolling is not necessary. To move the legend to a different location on the chart, simply click and drag on the legend. Note that information about a group on the chart can be obtained simply by pointing at the group on the chart. The tooltip provides all the relevant information about the group. In a simpler chart, you may want to display some values on the chart itself. Let's return this chart to its initial appearance and see how we can display the values on the chart. One way to do this is to right-click on the chart and select Plot Properties. Select the Options tab and choose Show Values. Press OK to display the values on the chart. You can format these values the same way that you would format any text. Select the desired value, and then use the buttons in the toolbar to apply formatting. Alternatively, you can select a value, right-click, and then choose Format to apply formatting to the value. To show other text information on the chart, you can use the text area in the visual panel. For example, to show the state names in the bars, drag the state field down to the text region in the visual panel. This would then allow you to hide the values on the x-axis. To do this, right-click on the axis and select Hide Axis. Format values on an axis or anywhere else on a chart. Again, select the values that you want to format and use the buttons in the toolbar to apply formatting, or right-click and select Format, as we showed earlier. There are a number of additional properties that you can set for dimensions and measures. To set properties of a dimension, press the Edit Dimension button next to the dimension that you want to edit. This allows you to set a sort order, for example, descending by value according to sum total, and it allows you to set a ranking, for example, selecting the top so many groups or the bottom so many groups according to a measure. For more information about ranking, see the video on top N ranking. Press the Apply button to apply the settings. To set additional properties for measures, click the Edit Measure button next to the measure that you want to modify. Settings that you can change include the method of aggregation, that is the method by which the measure values are summarized, as well as the calculation method, which is the method by which the aggregated measure value is displayed on the chart. To change the static color of groups on a chart, press the Edit button in the color region of the visual panel. This allows you to change the colors used to display the different measures. In a case where you are using color to distinguish different groups on a chart, as we did earlier, you can change the color selection again by pressing the Edit Color button next to the color region in the visual panel. This allows you to choose the sequence of colors that is used to represent the groups. In cases where you are using a visual format to represent a measure, press the Edit button next to the measure to select the method by which the measure is mapped to a visual format. See the other videos in this series for more information about creating particular types of charts, as well as for information about additional chart properties that you can set.